Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back from another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are recording Saturday, February 28th. End of February is here. We have the chance to sit down for a full pod for the first time in a while. Celtics have been on the road. Just came back, got a huge win over the Nets in their first home game post All-Star break. They're sitting pretty in second place in the Eastern Conference still. And we're ready to roll. How you doing, Sam?
Doing great. Good to be back. Fun to go to the game yesterday. Good game to be at. Fun show on the way. Got a few different things to talk about. We'll go through, talk a little bit more about Vooch. There's a lot of discussion last night after the game about his fit, how he's feeling. Jayson Tatum continues to just kind of hang out and be involved. We'll go through your emails, go around the NBA, look what's changed since the last time we did a full pod. And former Celtics guy, some stuff was not true that we heard. So we are going to talk about that and see what's going on there. We'll do the rat list and get out of here. Stick around through all of it. We're here every day. Subscribe. Full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, most weeks. Sometimes we get smoked like we did on the West Coast trip. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. That's a guarantee. And other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with everything going on with the Celtics. But without further ado, Vucevic, best game as a Celtic, came against the Nets. Dominated. Looked awesome.
Yeah, offensively, it was really fun to watch. I know we talked about it a little bit on the game recap last night, but figure we could go into a little bit more detail today. They just used him super well in the pick and roll, dove to the rim, played out of post ups. The off ball cutting was super cool too. I wrote about it for Boston Sports Journal. I have some clips there we can watch. It feels like they're really utilizing his full offensive skill set more consistently as the games go on.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday there was a lot of discussion after the game about, like, I was like, look, you guys seemed like as soon as he got in the game, he got the ball every time. Like, he was super involved, heavy usage in the first quarter. He made the most of it. He had 10 points. And Joe said basically, like, that wasn't a designed thing. It just happened, which for all of us, I think is a good thing, right? If you're, or I guess even anyone involved with the team, it's a good thing because they're starting to figure out how to involve him without it feeling weird or forced or clunky. Even in some stretches of the West Coast trip, it just kind of felt like they were trying to force feed him underneath. And while I think it is a good source of offense, especially when they can get a mismatch, sometimes the entry passes weren't good enough. Sometimes he wasn't sealing strong enough and he wasn't able to get a clean catch. Like there were flaws to it. Against the Nets, it was the best it's looked. He was setting great screens, which forced the Nets to make a decision whether they wanted to blitz the ball handler or switch off and have a smaller defender on him. And then they had to decide again, are we going to double team him or are we going to let our guy die underneath the basket? And he really just read everything correct. Even when they blitz him and they make everything difficult for him, he makes the right read. He kicks it out. He is an overly willing passer. And I think that characteristic in particular makes him a great fit for this team. This is a team that for years has been built on unselfishness. It would be like year 3, technically, with all the sacrifice that happened with the championship team and Porzingis and Holiday coming over and just having to take on smaller roles per se. Now you've got Vucevic, who has come in, sacrificed, been willing to come off the bench, and he's getting used to that. But honestly, Friday's game was the most organic. I mean, it was statistically the best game, but it never felt like they went out of their way or stunted the offensive flow to involve him. It was just natural and great outcome for the Celtics.
Yeah, I think they've been trying to consistently get him the ball since he got to the Celtics. I just think it looks clunky when it doesn't work as much, and it worked really well against the Nets. I think they did a better job screening and getting him switched onto matchups he liked. I think when they force it, it's almost like they try to post him up against other centers, which he can do, but it takes a lot more effort. And so I think when they do the work up front of having him screen, having him get a mismatch, it just looks a little bit smoother. I have some clips we can look at. Some of them here, I included a few in my Boston Sports Journal article. We can look at the cutting too. But in terms of Vooch, I mean, right out the gates, this is what, first quarter of the game, first quarter, midway through. He just checked in, around 3 minutes ago. He's got Claxton on him. Clowney's on Derek White. Just sets a screen immediately. Claxton comes up to level and switches, and they go into a post up for Vooch. They kick it to Shireman on the wing, and they get an entry pass, and Vooch gets an and one. As soon as he sees a matchup he likes, he's just gonna attack. And his touch around the rim and everything he's able to do down low allows him to be successful in that regard. So it's a smooth way to get him going. And then as the game goes on, the Nets have to start doubling him. This is obviously early in the second quarter after he had the big first. He gets Zaire Williams on him. Danny Wolf shows the double. Ugo Gonzalez cuts into the middle of the floor. And at that point, you just completely sucked in the entire Nets defense, and it takes 2 swing passes to get an open 3. Like they played out of Vucevic's post ups perfectly. This whole possession doesn't happen if the Nets don't have to send 2 to the ball. The whole thing is creating 2-on-1s. 2-on-1, boom, immediately created 2-on-1. You swing, and then you have a 3v4 for the rest of the court. Like they're just playing out of Vucevic advantages so seamlessly. And then by the time the end of the game came, it was pick and roll heaven for Vucevic. Here it is, you get a small switched onto you or a smaller guy. The same play they ran at the start of the game. A pick and roll, get the guy guarding Derek White onto Vooch, and then he goes to work in the paint. Josh Minot tries his best, but Vooch hits a turnaround. And then you got to the point where pick and pops were effective too. Again, just another pick and roll. And since they don't want to switch it, they try to hedge, but Vooch can just pop out. Like he's just a matchup nightmare. Like it just makes the Celtics really, really, really hard to guard.
Yeah, and like watching this, thinking about it when I was writing about it last night, I didn't have it burned into my brain what they were running. I thought it was just pick and roll, but I wasn't sure. I was like, well, they don't really do that. But no, that's really all they have to do with him to create.
There were some other things too, but it was a lot of pick and roll.
Yeah, like they're able to just kind of make simple plays, and then defenses have to adjust. And you mentioned the post ups. He does a great job of sealing really close to the basket. So if he gets the catch, it's easy for him to convert. The gravity that he's able to create in a controlled space is valuable. We would talk about it last year and the year before with Porzingis, where he was able to do similar things at the free throw line when he would get the catch, but he wasn't as close to the basket. So if you're a opposing team, you can look to live with it a little bit more. With Vucevic having essentially a layup, if he gets the catch, it is significantly more pressure. And you pulled up the Peyton Pritchard catch and shoot 3 off the swing. That's a prime example. By the time the ball got back to the perimeter, it was 4 guys around the paint, partially because Ugo made a nice cut and put pressure on them to crash even further. But they can utilize this and create even more threes, which is something that I'm sure they would like to do with the way that they look to create offensive advantages any way they can.
Yeah, and the coolest part about it, I'm texting Nick right now because I don't know what it's called. They got to a point where the Celtics are running the pick and roll with Vooch so much that the Nets started to guard it differently, and then they just screen for Vooch off the ball. Like, watch this play. I'll pull it up here for the YouTube viewers, right? Like, Peyton Pritchard brings the ball up on the wing. Audio listeners, apologize. I'll try to describe it, but you can go check it out on YouTube if you want to see the play in action. Pritchard brings the ball up the wing, and then Vooch goes to set a screen. It looks like he's about to set a screen for Derek White to come up and get the ball at the wing, but instead, Derek and Vooch know the Nets don't want to switch this. So instead of screening for Derek White goes in and screens Claxton. And since the Nets don't want to switch, it's just an open 3 for Vooch. Like he basically just sets a screen for Vooch to pop up to the top of the key, or excuse me, to the top of the wing, right? Like they don't want to let this pick and roll happen. They don't want to let the switch happen. Zaire Williams is staying connected. Credit to Zaire Williams. He's a very physical defender. He's a much better defender than I realized he was. But since the Nets don't want to switch this and they don't want to put, Claxton on Derek White and Zaire Williams on Vooch, they don't switch it. And then it's just an easy screen for Vooch to pop up. And like the more they can screen for Vooch off the ball, the more opportunities he'll get to shoot these threes, to get post ups. Like they basically turned the, you don't want to switch, or excuse me, you're trying to switch in the pick and roll and now you're not, we're going to punish it either way. Like you're not just going to have like a one tick, we're not going to switch any more solution to guarding us, we're just going to set a screen for Vooch to pop instead. Like there's just so many options you get when Vooch is on the floor on the offensive end.
I'm sure there are a lot of factors that go into this too, but one of them has to be the increased chemistry that they're building, right? Like there is some know-how that comes with playing a nearly a month of basketball together at this point, and you're able to make adjustments like that on the fly. It also helps that this action happened literally right in front of Joe. So I'm sure Joe could have just hollered and been like, do this instead. Or, I mean, playing basketball at a professional level for so long, both of them, they could just make the read themselves. But they still had to be on the same page. They had to kind of communicate that somehow, non-verbally, maybe verbally. But it didn't look like Brooklyn was cued into what was happening. They were extremely confused. So I'm guessing that there was no, hey, I'm going to do this now out loud where they could figure out what was going to happen. So the more they play together, the more you should be able to see them use Vucevic in versatile ways. And I don't know what you particularly thought of his screening last night, but it looked like guys were getting stuck on him more frequently, which is creating more advantages for them.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's the primary goal. So if he's getting guys stuck on him, it is going to make defenses make decisions. And that is the best thing that he can give you in a probably consistent way, right? Like it doesn't matter if shots are going in. If he's setting screens and guys are getting stuck to him, you're getting an advantage organically. So I think that was their big feel after that too. And they wanted to see him be more aggressive, as I think Joe said and Jalen definitely said. So we'll see how that develops for them.
Yeah, it was cool to watch. And then the cutting against the Nets was awesome too. The Nets play a super physical brand of defense, and it's really bothered the Celtics this year. They double ball handlers. They've sent extra pressure at Jalen, at Derek, at Peyton, and they sent extra pressure at Vooch. So to get around it, instead of just spacing the floor, it's because the Nets do a pretty good job of taking away that pass. The Celtics have been cutting more off the ball, or they did last night at the very least. I can pull it up here to show you guys if you're watching on YouTube. It started off with just pretty simple cuts, like some of them are just one cut. Again, a Vooch pick and roll. Claxton comes up to the level. They were switching early, and they tried to switch it up. But again, like I showed you in the other play, if they didn't switch, it was just an easy Vooch three. So here, Zaire Williams gets switched onto Vooch. He rolls, and they go to kick to they kick to the wing to get the entry pass again. They get it into Vooch, but since Minot has to help immediately, that leaves Derek White and Uwe Gonzalez open. Derek White stays spaced. Michael Porter Jr. takes that pass away, and Uwe Gonzalez gets an easy cutting bucket, like creating 2-on-1s. Vooch creates a 2-on-1 for himself. He gets 2 on the ball, and that creates a 2-on-1 over here. It's a 2-on-1, 2-on-1. Ugo makes a nice cut, easy dunk for him. And as the game went on, you saw more cutting to get around this, physical, aggressive defense. Here, it's a Pritchard drive that initiates it, gets help from Noah Clowney. Derek White cuts behind Nick Claxton, and since Clowney just helped over on the Pritchard drive, it's an easy kick out pass for Vooch corner three. Like it's great spacing. It's just great work by the Celtics. They tried to get the Clowney post up with Vooch. It didn't work, so Pritchard drove in, got help from Clowney, and then a cut from Derek opens up the pass, and then it ended in these like double cut possessions where Ugo drives on his guy, draws 2 into the paint. Pritchard cuts around Zaire Williams, who is out of position because he's watching the Ugo drive. And then since Danny Wolf has to help over to the corner to account for Ugo Gonzalez spacing, because the Nets already have 2 in the paint, Vooch just cuts into the paint for an easy floater. They're just like constantly putting the Nets in rotation, constantly cutting off the ball, constantly making them move. And the result was one of the most efficient performances in NBA history.
Is this the most we've seen the Celtics move since Joe took over?
It's a lot.
It might be.
Maybe. I think it's because in past years it was so simple for them just to run a pick and roll, get a 2-on-1 and kick out. Now it's still easy, but I think the combination of this specific Brooklyn defense sending a lot of doubles and the Celtics having a new offensive tool in Vooch who can space the floor and pass, it just happened to be what worked best on Friday.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've talked about Vucevic as somebody who's willing to give the ball up, somebody who sees cutters. And I mean, even in the first couple games, like you could see how it benefited Ugo, who has that in his genes as somebody who played at a high level in Europe where they play a different style. And he was able to thrive in that and get some easy buckets from Vucevic. I think that you open the door for your role players to get more involved this way. Not to say that they can't be involved in other ways either, because we've seen in years past guys get hot from 3, and if that's their game, then that's a perfect role for them. But somebody like Ugo, who hasn't been super consistent shooting it from distance, but mostly does a pretty good job at finishing. I don't know what his field goal percentage around the rim is. Not that you need to look it up, but it feels like he does a better job than most when he gets to the cup. So I like the cutting. Obviously, you pulled up the clip where Vucevic gets the catch and Minot instantly doubles. Like, that's the gravity. Like, that's just they've created a switch, and because of that, it gets them a free numbers advantage elsewhere. It's foolproof. It's awesome.
Nick got back to me. The screen we saw for Vooch, sorry, somebody's calling me, was a Corver screen. They ran a Corver screen for Nikola Vucevic, which is ridiculous. They ran a Kyle Korver screen to make it happen. It just shows you the versatility of Vooch. So credit to the Celtics for finding different ways of getting him open.
Corver, who I saw in the airport before I went to San Francisco, just hanging out with Logan. Yeah, just awesome stuff. Glad to see Vucevic getting more comfortable. And, let's hope he can replicate it. Sunday will be a big test from if Embiid plays, who's now, quote unquote, TBD to play at TD Garden tomorrow or today as you hear this. But it'll be a good matchup. It'll be nice to see how they try and exploit the spacing with Vucevic there and how he fares defending, because I know you put on the sheet here, defense still needs work. And I don't even know if it's like his positioning is off, because there are a lot of times where guys are getting looks inside and he's mostly in the right place. His hands are up, he's contesting without fouling, but it just doesn't do enough to throw guys off of their shot. Like, they just still convert. And granted, these are 2-foot little push shots for guys who are 6'10" and up. Like, those are their money shots, bread and butter. But his positioning does not seem to be bad to me. It's more so he just doesn't have the defensive playmaking ability inside to disrupt as much.
Yeah, there were some plays early in that game where the Nets were just getting easy buckets around him, and it's just something they got to work on. And I mean, you make the trade off for the offense, but Nick explanation live on air. He texts me. Teams would top lock pin downs for Korver, basically preventing him from getting around screens. So when that happens, he would just screen for the big. So when a stretch big tries to set a pin down for, in this case, Derek White, or in the Hawks case, Kyle Korver, and I assume Al Horford or Paul Millsap, he would just go and screen for them and said they would get an open shot because the team was so worried about Kyle Korver, or in this case, Derek White, getting a three. So thank you, Nick, the GOAT, for the live text back on air. But before we do continue, I want to tell you guys about Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action this basketball season, this hockey season. If that's what you're into, this whatever season you would like, you can check it out on Prize Picks. You can shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. It's super easy to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stats projections. And if you get your picks right, you could cash in. You can pick from all your favorite sports: basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, more. Football when it's in the season, whatever you want. You can check it out on Prize Picks. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 sports picks app, which is now available in all 50 states. California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, right here in Massachusetts, New England, Rhode Island, whatever state you're in, you can use Prize Picks and check it out. How you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. But if you want the biggest payouts, you can go for the power play. But no matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay. Jayson Tatum has been doing more hinting. I think it was an ad for body wash or soap or something that he posted on his story, and it was like coming soon or incoming or some message. I'll find it on Twitter. But everyone was freaking out. But on top of that, there are some rumblings of, some betting apps are adding Jayson Tatum stuff to their apps now. I wonder what's happening.
What apps? Or do you not want to say because of the sponsorship?
Oh, no. I think I saw FanDuel put like a Jayson Tatum section in the NBA. I think I saw Jayson Tatum odds for Finals MVP rising somewhere. There's just a lot of stuff going on that's like, it makes like it. Listen, I've been saying it the whole time. I think he's coming back this season. I don't know anything. It's just like reading the tea leaves, dropping the documentary. Like, it just feels like a comeback is inevitable at this point. And it's just a matter of time. And it seems like he just wants to do it on his own terms, which is his right to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was driving home from the Garden last night, late, obviously. So the illuminated video boards for ads on the side of the highway were quite prominent. They made their presence known, as Tatum is. And I saw 2 or 3 back to zero Amika ads with Tatum's face there. They are ramping up. I forget who it was we were talking to yesterday. They were saying how like Tatum has made so much money off of getting hurt. All these advertising campaigns and stuff are kind of centered around him getting back to full strength. And now that it feels like that return is coming soon, they're pushing these ad campaigns heavily. And they're getting, I mean, we're talking about Amika on this show organically. They didn't send us anything. They're getting their free press because they have smartly aligned themselves with Tatum at this point where everyone is so interested to find out if he's coming back. And they will do anything to have any kind of inside feeling, to get any kind of intel on this. I don't think the ads are nothing. I think there's significance to them. I did not see them before I left for the West Coast, and I didn't see them on my way back. So I think that there is a calculated reason why those advertisements are there. Of course, as you hear this, this is March 1st. This is the day that NBC flexed the Celtics 76ers to the primetime Sunday night basketball slot. And then less than a week later, shared the trailer for the documentary during one of the All-Star game timeouts. Like, this network, Jayson Tatum, they came together on this. But if you wanted me to put money on, I don't think he's playing against Philly. By the time this even is probably put into YouTube, we will know because the injury report will be out. Yeah.
I will say, though, Nick Nurse said he was scouting just in case. Said the Sixers were looking at some stuff just in case they had to play him. I'll read the quote here.
One team that knows about him, it's Philadelphia.
Yeah. Adam Aronson tweeted of the Philly voice of what is Philly voice? Yeah, the Philly voice. Nick Nurse says the Sixers have done, quote, a little bit of preparation in case Jayson Tatum plays for the Celtics in Boston tomorrow night, but they will do much more work. If anything, an injury report later today indicates Tatum could play. Imagine it's just doubtful. Again, this is coming out after we've obviously all seen the injury report, but I guess we shall see what happens because we don't know for sure. But yeah, Jayson Tatum, it feels like the ramp up is slowly kicking in. But anyways, we can move forward from that because we'll obviously have more news as the days go on. But let's check out y'all's emails. A reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. We have quite a few emails today to catch up on because we haven't had the time to do a full pod in a while. So I'm going to take away these spam emails real quick. And then we've got a bunch from RJ. Yeah, I don't know what this is either. A lot from RJ. 4 from RJ. RJ says a pretty win in San Francisco. More beautiful basketball from the Celtics. Hats off to the depleted Warriors for fighting back, but the Celtics won, and that makes it pretty. Joe's gonna have to coach. Joe's gonna have more to coach people about, so he'll be happy. The chaos trio of Walsh, Baylor, and Ugo look like it might make room for a 4th member in Ron Harper. And JV, Pritch, D. White, and Nemi helped hold it together at the end, so good practice for the playoffs. Only unfortunate thing was with the lead getting shaved, we didn't get to see Banton or John Tonje. Maybe before the trip is over. Be well, RJ, who hopes Jack got a chance to see a little bit of my adopted home. I don't know. I walked around in San Francisco a little bit. I actually did get to see San Francisco a decent amount. The day before the game, I walked around. I went down by the water. I saw the pier. I saw the sea lions. I saw the hills. I walked up one of the hills. That was less fun, but it was pretty. San Francisco might be. I'm trying to think of all the cities I've been to this year. I think it's probably my 3rd favorite. I think it's probably my 3rd favorite city I've been to this year.
Above that,
Toronto's number 1. Toronto is sick. I loved it. Okay. In New Orleans, I would say it was number 2, just because it's just very unique, like the architecture, like. But I would say San Francisco is right after that because you can see the mountains, you can see across the water. It's very pretty. Maybe I'm missing one, but I think if I had to pick, those would be the top 3.
New York
sucks. New York sucks.
If my West Coast power rankings are San Francisco, Los Angeles, and then like hit enter a bunch of times, Phoenix.
Really?
Phoenix was butt ass.
Phoenix third.
You say
you didn't go to Denver. I was like, Denver was second.
I didn't go to Denver.
Okay.
I will say you may have had your LA experience like hindered because you stayed downtown. You were close to the arena. Downtown's not the place to be. I stayed with family. I was in one of the outskirt
You had a
communities.
car.
I had a car. It was nice. It was. I had the beach there. I'm not even a beach dude.
Any city that requires a car for it to be cool, not for me. I think
I do agree with that because the metro in LA is not good. It's not really reliable. It's not quick. But like I enjoyed going around Santa Monica as Turpin called it, the GTA Pier. We went to the GTA Pier and walked around and got food and everything. It was a cool experience. But San Francisco was awesome. San Francisco was my top run of the trip. Woke up, ran from around Union Square all the way down to Chase Center and Oracle Park, which were awesome from the outside. They're right by the water, which is unbelievable. Yeah, it was cool. Also, I think I talked about it on the show, but I'm still in awe that the Warriors just have their practice facility in the Chase Center. Like you go into the Warriors locker room and they have a curtain, and then behind the curtain are 2 full-size like NBA basketball courts. It's the Auerbach Center inside of the arena. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I didn't expect all that to be there.
It's very cool. It's a very cool arena. San Francisco is definitely up there in terms of
the public transit.
Cool cities. Public transit's cool. It's fine. Only the East Coast has the good transit though. Even San Francisco is like kind of mid.
Why do you say that?
It's because San Francisco.
Why are you hating on the BART?
It's fine, but it goes in it cuts it in like a plus sign. Like it doesn't actually go throughout the real stops of the city. It's not as complete as I hate New York. I'll give New York credit. That shit goes everywhere. You can go to wherever the fuck you want to go in New York. True. Respect. Good city transit.
I think the BART is better than you're giving it credit for. I think because they've got the BART and then they have something called a Muni. Because I had to decipher this. I accidentally went to get on the wrong one. And one of them simply goes around San Francisco, and then the BART goes to Oakland. It goes to the other surrounding areas.
This is better than I thought, but I want to know how much of this is buses. Because if a lot of this is buses, it's still good, but it's not as good.
The colorful ones, I believe, are the trains.
No, this is bad. This is ass. This is ass. This doesn't go anywhere. It goes through the center of the city and nowhere else. All the red things are buses, and buses are fine. Don't get me wrong.
No, one of the red things we took, the one that was the one that we took to Chase.
Yeah,
Center.
This red line down here on the side, right? But okay, so then what about this entire half of the city? Just fuck you.
Get ready to learn the bus, buddy.
You know what I'm saying? That's not as good. That's not very good. And again. Buses, good. It's good that they cover everything with the buses. But these gaps look really small here. These are big fucking gaps. These are not small gaps. East Coast does it correctly with the trains. That's
frankly, the East Coast is the best coast. I mean,
DC
we have
trains,
the real time zone.
DC good trains.
DC Metro good trains. All right. Yeah.
Low key. Philly kind of slacking on the trains.
Philly's public transit is exactly what you said. It's just the big plus sign.
Yeah, it's ass.
You got one that goes north-south. They got one that goes east-west.
They got to be a little better.
It sounds disgusting. It sounds like you're talking about a septic tank.
They got to do a little better. Boston is good. New York is the best, obviously. You know who they got to copy. Who? Japan does trains right. That motherfucker Tokyo, you can get everywhere in Tokyo. Anyways, and they got the bullet trains. They go 300 miles an hour. Are you kidding? Besides the point. What do you say?
Just bullet train everywhere. You wouldn't fly. Well, now you would fly because you're used to it. But think about when you first started traveling, how much you hated flying. When we went to Vegas for the first time,
I would still love
train to Vegas.
I love trains. Anyways, thank you, RJ. Next email we got. I don't know why I'm saying that. They're all from RJ. RJ again. Brad Stevens crushes the salary cap. Afternoon, folks. It's rare to think of roster maneuvering looking as pure as a Sam Hauser jumper, but that's what Brad has done. At this point in his basketball operations career, if Brad signed Sam LaFrance to play, I believe it would work out. I'll just go fuck myself. Note to Sam that was a hyperbole. Don't lace up your kicks, brother. Thank you for sharing
him with breakdowns.
I'll be curious to see where Banton and Tanjay go when their current 10-day deals are up? Can they sign on with Maine even if they aren't two-way deals? But even with that mystery to be revealed, I'm comfortable knowing the Celtics are going to finish this year below the tax line and be in good position to do it again next year, all while Coach Mazzulla keeps the Celtics in the hunt for Banner 19. Thinking of the playoffs, assuming Detroit is the number 1 and Boston the number 2 seed, how would you prefer the rest of the East to shake out to optimize the Celtics' chances? Be well, RJ, who hopes Boston can bury the Lakers enough to get Ben and Tanjay some game time. I don't know. I think the Pistons are definitely the toughest matchup. I think if I'm the Celtics, I would like to play the Raptors and the like if you can get one of the play-in teams, it's automatically going to be a win, right? Because the play-in teams right now are looking like Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte. I think if you get any of those teams outside of maybe Charlotte, just because they're so hot still, if you can get Orlando, Miami,
look
Charlotte
at them this week too.
Yeah,
get a better feel for that.
But Orlando, Miami, Charlotte, or Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, you're happy, right? You get any of those 3 teams, you feeling pretty good about your chances to 5 or 6 them in the first round, right? Second round comes along, and you're gonna get one of Cleveland, Toronto, Philly, probably, or no, you're probably gonna get New York, Cleveland, Toronto, right? That's kind of what it's shaping up to be. In an ideal world, you'd love Toronto to finish the regular season strong so they get the 3 or the 4 seed and you can get them in the second round, right? But in reality, it's probably going to be New York or Cleveland in the second round. And if you're asking me, I'd rather play the Cavs. I'd rather play James Harden in a playoff series than the Knicks. But yeah,
that's reasonable. They've been good since Harden came on board. They lost to Detroit yesterday with no Harden and no Donovan Mitchell.
You see how they lost?
They had like a dumb foul, right? To send to overtime.
Yeah, Dennis Jenkins took a half-court heave in the last 2 seconds, and they fouled him. They were trying to foul up 3, but they fouled him.
You know what? Honestly, good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that is basketball karma. I hate the fouling up 3. It should be gone. Like, you should have to earn your stop. Like, I know you could just make the argument, well, you had 47 and 50 seconds to, compete and make sure you weren't down in the game. But as a spectator, it sucks. Like, nobody wants to see just 2 teams fouling each other with hopes that somebody makes a mistake so the game just gets decided that way. It's not what anyone wants. New York has played the Celtics really well this season. I'm curious to see how that kind of changes if Tatum comes back. But I really don't want to be talking about the playoffs in the if Tatum comes back sense, because that's a lot of expectations for a guy who hasn't played basketball in an NBA game speed situation in 9-10 months now. So that's a little unfair, but they've definitely played Toronto the best. They've had their way with Toronto. Cleveland, they've beaten twice, but this is a new version of the team that I think Harden does a lot for their bigs. Those guys could be lower usage, catch and finish, catch and shoot guys that actually get looked for in pick and roll situations, especially somebody like Allen or Mobley. Well, I guess both of them catching lobs. It makes it a lot easier for them to impact the game. They don't necessarily have to create a lot for themselves. And then, Philly's played the Celtics really well this year too. We'll see again today. I'm actually really excited to see it. But all of the games have been like 1-point games. And it's been 4 months since they've played, almost. So a lot's changed since then. Celtics have a new guy. Philly, they have like a semi-healthy Embiid who's maybe not going to play, but when he has played, he's actually been good. I don't think he was very good at the point where they played each other this year. There's a lot of different variables that have changed since then, so it's a little early. Orlando, I don't know what's going on with them. And then Miami's a joke. Atlanta beat the Celtics, but nobody's afraid of them. And Charlotte, I'm excited to see them this week too.
Yeah, Celtics traded their Tillman stopper. What are they going to do? But thank you, RJ. Next one. Alternate questions for JT. Good West Coast morning, folks. After watching the Sunday podcast about the pestering of JT, I thought y'all should go into the full lifestyle reporter assigned to the Super Bowl mode and give Jason, his teammates, Joe, and Brad a breather. So here are some starter questions for you to ask them in the scrum. For JT, what do you prefer, hard shell or soft shell tacos? What's your favorite color of athletic wrap these days? Do you switch it up so it coordinates with your fit? What do you think of Bobby Manning's new look this season? What are you sitting alongside when you are sitting alongside the bench, do you have a beer or food from concessions to still pay for it? As a way to build team solidarity, did you give your teammates Valentine's Day cards like the ones you had in grade school? For his teammates, which do players on the injury lists get to play in spades and domino games on flights. Besides me right now, which reporter has asked the silliest question about JT? For any of the players with the podcast or Twitch stream, what excuses has JT given you for not doing your pod? And then has Jayson hooked you up with his new kicks, or at least let you buy at a cost, or does he make you pay full retail? For Joe, do you have a guess to when Jayson can do MMA sparring with you? Does JT ever help out around practice by bringing the donuts? Since Tatum's injury, has your viewing shifted away from the crime dramas and more to medical shows and movies? And then for Brad, how much of your day is spent reviewing the HIPAA materials for new ways to say we don't have a date for his return? In which draft do you think you'll take Deuce? Is a late first round or early second round pick? How often do you ask yourself, second place in the East, I'm never going to draft in the lottery, am I? I hope this helps, even if it's just to have a laugh or two. Be well Archer, who figures if everyone deserves a break. I think we would get kicked out of the building if we asked any of these questions.
I actually think Joe would appreciate the MMA one. That's the one question that I think he would actually get a kick out of, because you are effectively asking him the same thing that he's heard, but you've put a creative spin on it. I think he may actually appreciate that. Or he'd just invite you to spar with him and he'd pop your head off. So
I think he'd just stare at you like he did it to Bobby in Phoenix, was it? Maybe LA. I don't remember. LA. Yeah. I think he'd get stared down. Thank you, RJ.
Manning
Last
has
one.
a new look like every couple weeks. He keeps it fresh.
I know. He keeps it fresh. Perfect way to honor Riley. RJ says, evening, folks. Tonight was so much fun. The Celtics win big. LeBron and Luka look very mortal. Pat Riley's handpicked game to reveal a statue becomes Geno time. If winning makes everything pretty, then tonight was the Helen of Troy on the beauty scale. My favorite part of the game was watching Ugo Baylor and Walshy take turns applying the lessons JB perfected against Luka on defense. Even though Luka scored 18 in the first half, he worked hard for them. And wasn't getting cheap free throws. He and the Lakers played flatter and flatter as the game wore on, while everyone on the Celtics knew what winning basketball took. The Celtics bench guys are learning how to play with confidence and trust that doing things the right way, every play will wear down your opponent, which is what playoff ball looks like. And my only disappointment was that Joe didn't trust Tanjay or Banton with at least 30 seconds of playing time tonight. Be well, RJ. Who knows, dinner will taste even better tonight. Yeah, Lakers win was huge. And Banton and Tanjay have since gotten their minutes, so they have played.
Yeah, I mean, I said it after the game, but that game was a clear indicator of just the difference in Boston versus LA, whether it be the talent, whether it be the mindset. Those guys quit so easy. Celtics put pressure on them. They made it difficult on them. They weren't getting the foul calls they wanted. They all kind of started complaining. And the Celtics just have a conveyor belt of guys who are going to come out there and compete. And the Lakers don't have that. Beyond their top three talented guys, everybody else feels like a coin flip rather than you at least know you're going to get their best effort on a given night, even though they may make some mistakes type of guys, which is what the Celtics have, what they've built, what they've put together. It's a difference maker. It's the reason why this team has overachieved, if you will, to the degree that they've done it. It's from within. And I think there's a layer to that too, where the Lakers have had forever the privilege of just being like, where LA come play for us. And now that the NBA isn't really built on free agency anymore, even like around the fringes, they can't do that. Fringe role players are hitting free agency for a reason. It's because they aren't good enough to do the things that are asked of them on a gamely basis. So it's clearly hashtag different here.
There is that. All right, let's jump over to the NBA. Let's see how the teams are doing around the league. It's been a minute because of the All-Star break, but let's check it out. First place still goes to the Detroit Pistons, 5.5 games ahead of the Celtics, who are a game and a half ahead of the Knicks in third. Cavs, a game and a half behind those Knicks, and then Raptors, 2 games behind them. Sixers, a game behind the Raptors in sixth, rounding out the guaranteed playoff teams. Playing is the Magic, Heat, Hawks, Hornets, like I mentioned. Hornets have a 2-game lead on the Bucks in 11th and are only half a game behind the Hawks in 9th. Bucks, Bulls an 11-game win streak losing streak, by the way. Bucks, Bulls, Wizards, Nets, Pacers down in the dumps there, all on losing streaks, ranging from 1 for the Bulls, 1 for the Bucks, 11 losses for the Bulls, 3 for the Wizards, 7 for the Nets, and 5 for the Pacers. Those teams are bad.
A combined 26 straight losses for the bottom of the East. Unbelievable. 27 if you loop in the Bucks 1-game losing streak, even though they've been mostly good. 7-3 in their last 10. Pretty impressive for a team in the 11th spot. Same as Charlotte, who are right above them. Anthony Simons, have to feel for him. He has not won a game since being traded to the Celtics. They went winless for the entire month of February. That has to sting after being kind of introduced to a winning culture, being somewhere where you feel like your actions are appreciated and they actually contribute to something. The difference, like, it would probably make me vomit if I was him. These middle of the pack teams are the middle of the pack teams. I mean, we did a little bit of an Eastern Conference standings chat, but Detroit just keeps taking care of business. I think they lost to the Spurs the other day, but beyond that, they've been very good. The Spurs, by the way, who haven't lost, it didn't lose in February. Shout out to them.
Yeah, Spurs are nasty. They're on a heater. Hornets still hot, 7-3 in their last 10, 1-3 in a row. Celtics and the Pistons both on fire, 8-2 in their last 10. So, top of the East is playing very well. Cavs too.
Hornets about to play Portland as well. Like, literally in like 5 minutes, they're going to tip off. So, may look a little different in the morning based on what happens.
Charlotte, who has the 5th best point differential in the East, by the way, and the Celtics, who have allowed the fewest points per game by almost a full point in the entire NBA, which is kind of insane. But Western Conference, Thunder is still on top, but only 2 games ahead of the Spurs now. The Spurs, who, like Sam said, are on fire, 11-game win streak, and only 1 game behind them in the loss column and 3 in the win column, 2 games back in the standings, which is kind of insane. Rockets have jumped all the way up to 3rd place in the West. They've won 3 in a row. The Nuggets, who just lost to the Thunder in an overtime game, which we can talk about in a little bit after the NBA standings, are right behind them, tied with the Wolves. Lakers have dropped down to 6th, only a game ahead of the Suns. Lakers, who have lost 3 in a row now, including a ugly loss to the Magic, in which they blew the game completely. Warriors in 8th behind the Suns in 7th. Then you got the Blazers and the Clippers running at the play-in. The Clippers, who have lost 3 in a row, are sort of falling off a little bit, but there's no one really there to take them out of the way in the play-in because the Grizzlies, the Mavericks, Jazz, Pelicans, and Kings are really, really bad at basketball.
And they're all trying to be. All of those teams would be absolutely fine if they lost every single game for the rest of the season, probably. The Warriors. Is this just going to be it for them every year? Are they like one of the Bulls, Hawks, Heat type teams? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. I mean, when Curry and Butler are hurt,
they're hurt every year. Like, Butler, they were good with Jimmy last year once the trade happened, but like thinking back to Miami the last couple seasons, Butler got hurt several times. Steph Curry's been hurt several times, it feels like, over the last few years. He's getting older. Obviously, he's going to get hurt. They always just kind of find themselves middling out. The Lakers stink. I mean, we saw it with our own eyes. Loser team. Big shock that they are negative point differential, while somehow, like, they are 10 games above 500 and they have a negative point differential. That's crazy. That's just the definition of they either have it or they completely don't care. Like, they do not handle when things do not go their way well at all. Clearly. Denver is good against the Celtics and nobody else. 4-6 in their last 10. They just got pieced. I mean, they took OKC to overtime, but OKC is playing shorthanded, right? Was Shea back?
Yeah. Shea did play, but he didn't play in the overtime, which was weird. I think maybe minutes restriction. Yeah, but I did want to talk about that game, so we'll jump right into that. Did you watch the game at all? Are you familiar with anything that happened?
I didn't get to watch it because that was happening when we were working, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I threw it on some of the shenanigans.
So, Lu Dort got ejected, flagrant 2. And there was a bunch of Thunder people saying, this is garbage. How is this a flagrant 2? And there's a bunch of everybody else saying, how the fuck are you defending this? Let me show you. I'm going to show you the first angle, then I'll show you the second angle. And you're going to give me your thoughts after the first angle, then you're going to give me the thoughts after the other angle, if you wouldn't mind here. So,
okay.
First angle here for you, Sam. We'll do a ratless VAR for this Lu Dort play. First angle here. Cam Johnson's going to pass the ball, and I want you to watch Lu Dort over here, and I want you to watch Jokic right here. He goes, and Dort sort of like, let me mute it so we don't get any bullshit. Lu Dort kind of like checks him for no real reason in the backcourt, and then gets mad, and then Jokic presses him, and then he makes a really scary face in Jalen Williams' face, and they get really mad. And Jokic's face.
Off Jokic, I feel like that is like a achievement.
Yeah,
He seems very
and
cool.
Jokic made a very. This is like when Markieff Morris and him got into it, and he like ended Markieff Morris's career by just giving him whiplash. Let me see if I can find you. I want you to see Jokic's face in this little thing with him. he just gets.
He actually looks like the Joker.
Exactly, that's what people were saying.
He
But
turned it on.
now this, Sam. Okay, thoughts after that first angle of Lu Dort?
In my opinion, I don't really know if that's an ejection. I think it's like maybe a flagrant one, maybe
Yep.
just a foul, or maybe it's a take foul. Like
Now,
I feel like a flagrant in my head, that's just not what a flagrant looks like.
now I'm gonna play you the second angle, and I want you to watch his Lu Dort's feet. I want you to watch his legs. This is the angle of Lu Dort that everyone was like, I see. Yes. He hip checks him and trips him at the same time. Listen, man, I get it's kind of weak. If the main thing in a flagrant 2 is unnecessary, this is the poster child.
Sure.
Why?
For
what?
There was literally nothing happening. The point of the action in this part of the play was everyone needs to get to the other end. We're starting a new possession.
The only possible outcome of this play from what Lu Dort did was a Jokic injury. That is the only possible thing that could have happened. There's no other it's not like he gained the Thunder any advantage on the play. It was, I am going to hip check him and try to trip him at the same time. That was the only possible, because for what other reason would he be doing this? Look at his foot. He tries to take out his feet.
He extends his foot.
He hip checks him and also trips him. For what? That's not even his man. That's not even who he's guarding. That's just the dirty play. It's just their dirty play. Lu Dort might be the dirtiest player in the NBA. I hate Lu Dort. I think he is a dangerous player. Look at this. We're gonna watch this. Let's watch 30 seconds of Lu Dort ball. Look at this.
Can we do a Draymond versus Lu Dort?
We'll do VAR. We'll do VAR here, Sam. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is some bullshit. This is partially the league's fault too. Can you imagine being good enough at basketball where you can shoot the ball and not have to completely focus on shooting, where you can try and trip somebody while you shoot?
It's a Lu Dort classic. He does it every play. He tries to trip his defender every play. Every play. He took out Wemby's knee. He's just a dirty player, man. Look at this. He grabs him in the dick. He fucking karate kicks Luka.
I think the karate kick was not necessarily intentional. I think it was more of he's trying to hop in front of the screen, but there was no space, so it ended up being a karate kick. Not saying it shouldn't be a foul, but I think he was trying to get around Derrick Jones, but it's a knee. It ends up being a knee. It is what it is, and these motions end up turning into fouls. If you want my opinion on him tripping the guys, I think he's trying to extend his foot in hopes of getting contact to get to the free throw line, but what it results in is dangerous plays.
He hits Tyrese Haliburton in the face here. He just hits him. He just punches him in the face. There's no other. It's got to stop. It's bad. It's getting to a problem where it's bad. If Dylan Brooks did these things, he'd be serving a 15-game suspension right now. But since Lu Dort isn't as outward with his actions, it doesn't matter. It's an issue. But anyways,
that's my of Thunder Warriors again. I just want to see a Lu Dort Draymond, they guard each other,
injure off,
which will never happen because they both want to guard the better offensive players.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, last NBA thing before the rat list. Apparently, Kristaps doesn't have POTS. This came out from 95.7 The Game. Steve Kerr said that Kristaps doesn't actually suffer from POTS. After the trade, I called Ansi Sala, the Hawks GM, and I asked, is this POTS story real? And he said, it's actually not POTS. So that was some misinformation that was out there. So we just don't know again. We just don't know what Kristaps is dealing with.
So I hate to laugh at this, but it is funny. And it's not funny because he's sick. It's funny because we were talking to him at Chase Center And Noah asked him several questions about pots, and she said pots. And he never was like, yeah, no, that's not what it is. Like, he's just like cool with everyone thinking he's got this. Like, so I'm assuming that he's the one that like had spoken about the illness, had
Maybe it was a misdiagnosis. I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know. I like it's just weird. It's just
I
kind
thought it
of a
was so
weird
odd that
thing.
like once I saw this issue, I was like, he's never corrected anyone. He's never been like, this isn't what it is. Wouldn't you? Or is that just something that you're like not looking to talk about?
Yeah, I think it's just something I would rather not talk about. Like, he probably didn't even want it out there that he had POTS. He was probably like, I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna say I'm fine. Like, I'm gonna keep my medical issues to myself. Like, it is kind of a weird thing. Like, if you think about it, these guys are forced to broadcast their medical history and issues and struggles to the entire world. Like, if I went up to a random person on the street and said, "Hey, you seem sick. Do you have POTS?" You know, what I'm saying? Like, it's just a weird kind of thing. Like, it's not exactly the type of thing that an everyday person has to deal with sharing consistently. So I can understand wanting to keep some element of privacy in his life.
Jack, you shared your trip to the doctor where they said no more caffeine.
I did. I'm also not like, I also talk on a microphone every single day of my life. Like, there's levels to this.
This is just so bizarre, but I mean, the mystery continues. We can all sit and wonder what happened, what he was dealing with.
Yeah.
And honestly, finding out will do nothing, because when we thought he had POTS, it didn't do anything. I mean, it was just like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Who knows, man? All right, Sam, rat list. What do you got?
Let's see. We haven't done a rat list in a while.
I know.
I will rat list the snow. So last time we got snow, I was here, and I was here the day of. It made me miss a game, but I was here. And I bought a shovel to help me with this. And this shovel is like a unique shovel where it like extends. You can change the length of the shovel, which is actually awful. It's horrible. Like, because you extend it, you have to twist the handle, and then it loosens, and you can slide the actual like pole to be longer, and then you tighten it again. But when you're shoveling, you're using torque and everything to lift the snow, so it just keeps like loosening, or the actual pole itself will twist on its own because you're lifting snow and gravity is pulling on the actual shovel part to twist it. So I was trying to shovel, and it just like kept tilting my shovel. I'm happy that we had a couple people helping, so it did not fall on this shovel's shoulders, but it was a pain in the ass. Shout out to the rain though, because the rain took away some of the snow. It was actually warm out the day we were shoveling. So coming back from the West Coast, I was very nervous about this whole process. Like, I woke up on Thursday, and I was just like, damn, like today's gonna be awful. I have to shovel my car out. Wasn't that bad, but it was annoying.
Yeah, it doesn't sound super fun. I'm gonna rat list the turbulence going into Denver. That, like, I'm like better. Like Sam mentioned, I was scared of flying for a long time. I'm better now just because I've flown so much this season. That was by far the worst turbulence I have ever experienced. Like, the plane was like like completely moving in the air by ways of like 5 to 10 feet at a time, like just shaking around, like completely jostling. Like, it was crazy. Like, everyone was looking around like, holy shit, like this is nuts. And then I look over to Noah, because she was in like the opposite aisle from me, and she's going like this. She's like, like she likes turbulence, and it's pissing me off. And I was like in a state of genuine fear. Like, I was actually scared to be on that airplane. And like, Noah and I are good friends. Like, I looked at her, and she could tell in my face, like, oh, he's like actually scared. And she was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, it was very clear. My face, I'm in near tears, and she's like, oh, it's serious. Like, this is not a joke that we should be making right now. So she cut the bullshit real fast. But like, I can't express how crazy that turbulence was. I think there were like 50-mile-an-hour winds above Denver that day. Like, we got delayed an hour and a half because the winds were worse. So we literally could not have landed in Denver safely. So like, it was brutal.
I would have were you, when you heard why the delay happened? Were you like, "Oh, this is about to suck"? Like, did you kind of have like a preconceived like
In
you
the
were gonna
back
get
of my
fucked?
head, yes, but I didn't really think about it because I knew I would just be
Yeah.
freaking out the whole flight. So I kind of like pushed that in my mind until we got to around landing time. And when that first wave of turbulence hit, I was like, I'm this fucking sucks. Like I'm
So
shitting myself.
you didn't have turbulence till you were almost there, though, right?
No, it was pretty fine most of the way. Going out of Denver too, there was a little turbulence. It wasn't nearly as bad, but we were just like bumping around until we were like up in the sky. But I think it's just like going in and out over the Rockies is just pretty brutal.
So the good news is like if you had that turbulence at the beginning of flight, you would have just had to deal with, oh no, when's it coming back the entire time? Like,
That's what happened when I exited Denver, but I it subsided relatively quickly.
okay, well that's good. Yeah. Personally not a big fan of significant turbulence. I probably would have been right there with you. I remember the only time I've had bad turbulence, I must have been like towards the end of elementary school age. And I was flying with my mom and we hit what is called an air pocket. So it was just like being on one of the rides at Six Flags where you just go up and then you just drop. That's what it felt like. And we were
Yes.
in the air for a little bit after
When
that.
was this?
I was young, like probably like adolescent age.
I see.
And I was just like, I need to get off of this flight. And
Yep.
we actually like couldn't land for some reason. So we were just circling where we were at for like an hour. So it was hell. I was like terrified the whole time.
Yep. It's bad.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Awful.
No. Turbulence is brutal, man. It is scary. And Noah always says just like there's never been a plane crash from turbulence. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the stat. It sucks. It's scary. Okay.
I would love do we have the reports for every plane crash? Like they just reported no turbulence. Like
Well,
like
no,
the
it's
passengers were
just
like
every plane crash recorded, like none of them have ever been, oh, it's because of turbulence. It's like it's never actually been a problem. Like
hmm.
I've trust me, as a guy who's scared, I've looked into it. Turbulence is like a completely normal thing. It's by the winds. Planes are built to sustain it. They don't get moved that much. It's just internally getting like trust. I know,
Okay.
but it's just it's still scary. It's still a scary thing. But alas, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean as someone whose mom is in the industry, like I subside on like the Noah side of it where I'm just like, like my mom's fine. You know, she's never had anything happen to her on a plane and she's dealt with turbulence. So like I'm like, you'll probably be okay. But when you're in the moment, it's just not fun. It's not fun at all.
Not fun.
Rat list. I'm trying to think. I had like a good one that I was like fired up about, but I don't remember. I apologize. Apologize to everyone, letting everyone down. Oh, you know what? Rat list, the the horn at the Pistons Cavs game last night
Crazy.
in the arena. They had the buzzer going off for 12 and a half minutes straight, and it went viral. The scoreboard buzzer operator was in the torture chamber. They had like a still image of him just freaking out as he was trying to figure out what the hell was going on there. They finally fixed it. And from what I read, that they had to use an air horn going forward. Like they had to use like a manual actual horn. Or at least it's for some stages of that, because they were afraid if they turned it back on, it was just gonna get stuck again.
Yeah. And you saw Duncan Robinson? Sorry,
No.
I meant Duncan Robinson. They played the air horn to like use it, and he just sits there like this. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "What the fuck was that?"
What a season it's been for Duncan. He had the most terrified look on his face when they had the brawl against Charlotte, and now he's got to deal with the air horn.
Hey man, Duncan Robinson's been great for the Pistons. I know he struggles on defense, but he has been exactly what they need. He's shooting 39.7% from three on 7.5 attempts. Like that dude can shoot the basketball. He can shoot the ball. Credit to him, man. That's all I got. I don't know if you have anything else.
Rat list is so I went to a high school basketball game on whatever day the Celtics didn't play, and they do not have enough room on the bleachers. Like the bleachers are too close together. Like I felt like I was gonna have my knees in the person in front of me's back because my legs are long as shit, and I didn't want to be kneeing them. My hips were tired as shit from like holding my legs in the right place where I wasn't going to bother anybody by the time the game was over. Awesome game though. Happy I went. One of the kids that plays pickup in my run. So Joe Missoula's high school lost, and they played against their rival in a playoff game. But one of the kids I played pickup with, he's a freshman. He made the big team at the other school, so a lot of us went to go support.
So did he win or he lose?
He won. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Got some minutes. Gave good minutes off the bench. Pretty cool.
Nice. What does he play?
They had him bringing the ball up. Actually, you do a little bit. Of everything. I hate guarding him. I'll tell you that. It's always me that has to guard him.
I know him?
No, you wouldn't know him.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Cool. That's dope. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. No. I think only one seat recliner in my flights out west in front of me. So that was good. It was nice to see everyone was respecting. There was one dude in the middle seat who just like went full mode, which kind of pissed me off a little bit. Whatever.
Have you ever seen
I was on the aisle, but
the routine on that where Jim Jeffries talks about airlines and what seat etiquette should be? I'll send it to you after this because we're not going to play it on the show. But he does give a breakdown of who should have what access to which armrests based on seating arrangements.
Yes. I mean, listen, I was the aisle, so I was fine. And I get it. You're the middle seat. You should get probably at least one, probably both. You should probably get both of those armrests. He's just jutting out into my space a little bit too much. It kind of pissed me off. Like I was just kind of like, okay, I gotta turn this way. Like I get it. You're in the middle, not fun. Give me a fucking break. All right. Yeah, let's be serious. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We're here every single day with new stuff. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps drop the morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us streaming pregame live with Nick NBA, who had a little bit of a Easter egg cameo on this show. It's been awesome. We love talking to him every game. So come hang out for that half hour before each tip off on the channel. Also on YouTube, on Twitter. Socials, HowWithMCs, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the pod. You can email us, HBTCpod. All of our stuff's on Spotify and Apple. Jack's Twitter's at Jackson1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance. NBA, that's up for us.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.